This is just a small taste of a much larger class. You can take the full class for free at levelset.com. Join me. A mechanics lien is going to be one of the most essential, important tools in your toolkit. It allows you to get paid when people don't want to or can't pay you. This will allow you to help your sales team upsell and increase your market share while doing it in a safe and as secure a manner as possible, short of a letter of credit. Let's talk to John about liens. So John, there's the credit manager definition of a mechanics lien. What is the actual definition?
Well, a mechanics lien is simply a privilege where you are usually granted title to a property in order to, if you need to foreclose at the end of the day, to get paid for an obligation that you're owed. So you've got a contract where some party agrees that they're going to pay you. Well, it's as good as the paper it's written on. But a mechanics lien, generally you can actually file in the mortgage records or whatever your state requirements are, and you get a lien against the property which shows up. So whoever is building this project, they now know they can't sell it, they can't remortgage it until this lien is addressed. So it's a much higher security right.
And that's why you never want to give up your power. You never want to give up those lien rights. We are the only industry that has something carved out like this to leverage a form of payment. Not only are you foolish if you don't use them, but you're also letting your salespeople down and your company down. You're leaving money on the table. And that's why this is probably your most important lesson. This is just a small taste of a much larger class. You can take the full class for free at levelset.com. Join me. The whole process behind liens was created so that it incentivized material suppliers or tradesmen to take that risk on the property, since they had to lay out things so much in advance. They had to lay out either the materials or the labor. So that's an incentive that I'm going to be able to give you a mechanism to grab that property and work out that payment if something should go wrong. If you are supplying materials, labor, equipment, you're going to be able to secure it with lien rights. So pretty much anybody putting anything on that property or into that building on the property will be able to use those. Let's say you have a guy who his account has $5,000 credit line. He's really not worth more than $5,000. But he has a project that is $15,000 worth of materials or labor that's going into it. If I can secure it by using mechanics lien rights, I can effectively take more risk with this customer because I have a form of security. I have a lever or a catch to be able to get that money. So I can sell to a little bit more riskier customer and help my salesman be a hero to that customer. Think of a ladder. If you're a sub, a GC, a material supplier, some cases a manufacturer, bank, property owner, you all have some form of trigger in that mechanics lien right. It sounds complicated, and sometimes it is, depending on if you are multi-state or dealing with one state. There's nuances if you miss deadlines. They're very tied to state statute, so there's a lot of flux. There can be a lot of change in there with that. You want to make sure that you're following everything to the letter, and timelines are key with the mechanics lien. There's no forgiveness. There's no wiggle room in a mechanics lien. Let's talk jeopardy, and I'm talking about mechanics lien jeopardy. So in the world of mechanics liens, you have unpaid balance states and full paid balance states. Full paid balance states are ones, as a credit manager, I'm willing to take a little more risk on. It's also known as double jeopardy, because even though the owner may have paid the contract in full, he's still liable to pay whatever's out there if I have a valid lien in place. So that's in a double jeopardy state. You've got your owner, you've got your prime contractor or general contractor, and then you've got your sub or your material supplier. Even if the owner has paid the general contractor in full, if I've done my job as a credit manager and secured my lien rights, I can still go back up, circle around to that owner of the property and say, I'm sorry, I'm here, I haven't been paid. It's unfortunate for you, but you have to pay me again. I didn't give a lien waiver on it. That's a double jeopardy state. Unpaid balance state, once that general gets paid by the owner, there's no more money for me if his contract has been met in full. So be aware of those lien rights. This is just a small taste of a much larger class. You can take the full class for free at levelset.com. Join me.